Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, we've all seen the incident between Chris Rock and Will Smith, but I've already done 2 videos about that, so I just want to focus on something positive, like who actually won this year. So the winners for the 94th Academy Awards this year, Coda won for Best Picture, so that's good because the deaf community doesn't get a lot of recognition. They won over Dune and West Side Story. Has Steven Spielberg got an Oscar yet? I don't know. Of course, Will Smith won Best Actor, and he gave a good performance. He's a great actor, but I'm not really sure about him personally. And I just remember watching him being like, oh, Denzel Washington and Will Smith are both in the same category. They both can't win, damn. So yeah. Now, Best Actress, Jessica Chastain, I was really happy about that because I loved her performance as Tammy Faye, and I love Tammy for what she did in the 80s for My People and calling out the hypocrisy of certain communities. And I'm glad Nicole Kidman didn't win because she's a good actress and everything, and she's Australian, so I'm supposed to have her back, but I think she was the wrong person for the role. I think she got the part because they wanted the Oscar. They wanted her to win an Oscar for it, and they were just thinking about that, not who would actually be the best performer. So I'm glad they didn't get it because I think that backfired on them. Now, Best Original Song went to No Time to Die. It was performed live by Billie Eilish, which was amazing. I didn't realise she could sing that well because she usually just does pop songs. And there wasn't really anything else to compete with that, really. Oh, just wait. Be Alive from the motion picture King Richard from Beyonce. I didn't realise she was up for an Oscar. I didn't even hear about that. Best Animated Feature was Encanto, which is good. It's gotten a lot of attention, but I don't think it actually made a lot of money, but it had a hit song. Live action short, The Long Goodbye. International feature film, Drive My Car. I don't know half of these. Best Original Screenplay, Belfast by Kenneth Branagh. I saw that award because I only saw half the ceremony. I didn't realise what time it was on. I just happened to switch it on about, I was flicking through the channels, about an hour and 50 minutes into the ceremony. Fortunately, they went 45 minutes over time, so I saw about an hour and 50 minutes, so I pretty much saw just over half of the actual show. Now, Troy Kotsur, I think his name is, won for Coda for Best Supporting Actor, and he seemed to give a good performance. I haven't seen the whole film, just some scenes. Jane Campion won for Best Director for The Power of the Dog, which is good because there was talk of her being cancelled because she said something bad at one of the award ceremonies where she won something else, so I'm glad she's survived. She bet Steven Spielberg as well. Now, has he gotten an Oscar yet? I need to check that. I can't remember. I feel like he's been snubbed so many times. Best Supporting Actress went to Ariana DeBose, who's in West Side Story. I haven't seen her performance. She beat out Kirsten Dunst, who was a good sport because, and Judi Dench as well. They were made fun of because this year they actually had hosts. They had Amy Schumer, Tiffany Haddish, and Wanda Sykes, and they were actually pretty funny. I actually liked their jokes. They did a good joke about they hired 3 women to host because it was cheaper than hiring 1 man. They did a shout out to Florida. Gay, 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 gay. That was good. And, they were good. Best Documentary Feature. Oh, the whole point of that was Kirsten Dunst got pulled out of her chair by Amy Schumer, who mistook her for a seat filler. And she went along with that joke quite well. I think she stood out of frame, basically, and let Amy Schumer interview her husband like he was the celebrity or the actor. I'm not sure if he is or not. Now, Best Documentary Feature went to Summer of Soul. Best Adapted Screenplay went to Coda. Best Makeup and Hairstyle went to Tammy, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I was so happy about that. And they bet out Cruella, Dune, Coming to America, which probably had the most work. Best Visual Effects, of course, went to Dune, which won over Spider-Man No Way Home, which was the popular favourite, but I think Dune had more work. They created a whole world, whereas Spider-Man, not as much effects. I don't know, I haven't actually watched it. Those are the only 2 notable ones to mention. Best Original Score went to Dune. Best Animated Short, The Windshield Wiper. Best Short Documentary, The Queen of Basketball. Best Cinematography went to Dune, and that's Greg. Is it Greg? Greg. I don't know, Fraser. He's an Australian cinematographer. He's actually worked on The Mandalorian as well, and I'm sorry I screwed up his name, but we're happy about that. Best costume design went to Cruella, which is good because they did a lot of work on that, and it was quite spectacular. So, but West Side Story also had a lot of costumes, but Cruella's were really over the top and quite, spectacular. Best film editing went to June. I'm hoping he wasn't the Australian. I think it was cinematography that won. Pretty sure it was that guy. Hope I didn't get that wrong. That'd be embarrassing. Best production design went to June as well. Best sound went to June. June won a lot. It was a big production, so I guess that makes sense. And that's all Google is giving me. Now, there was some controversy this year because they decided to eliminate some categories from the live performance. Now, that's very questionable, but the way they did it was decent. They basically showed the clips and the nominees, and then the person who had already won came up, and they just basically streamlined it. They didn't eliminate it, they just streamlined it and took it out of the actual live performance, and it was done separately and then just sort of shown in a way. So, and they got to give their speech on stage, and I think they did that with all the categories. So that was good that they saved that, because you didn't really feel like you missed it, but they did save a few minutes with each of those categories, and it's all about saving time, because despite all that, they still managed to go 45 minutes over time this year. So yeah, what were the memorable moments, aside from Will Smith's moment and then validating it and justifying it within his speech, which I feel like sort of undermined winning the Oscar for him. I think the two things can always be mentioned together now. Jessica Chastain, I liked her speech because she actually spoke out against violence, particularly towards my community, and talking about all the issues in the world today, and she did a good job of doing that without being over the top or anything. One of the more moving moments was when they did the memorial part. They had Jamie Lee Curtis stand up and talk about adopting pets, basically to honour Betty White, and they had the Golden Girls music, and I started to cry, and I'm like, God, if they do that song, because they had a bunch of people doing a musical number during the memorial part, not just, they normally just play this sort of sad music and show the people's pictures. This time they actually, it was more of a celebration of their lives, it felt like, and it was actually done really well. And the other thing that really stood out for me for the whole performance was, aside from the host being kind of funny throughout, which hasn't happened for a while, was Lady Gaga and Liza Minnelli. Liza Minnelli was in a wheelchair. She obviously wasn't well, and Gaga was basically, they were there to give out the best film Oscar, and Liza was having some difficulty with it, and Gaga said, "I've got you," and she basically did the presentation for her. But it was nice to see Liza there. They were honouring her, and that was good. It would have been good if West Side Story had won, just because those two are musical people, so it would have been really good. I think that's why they had them, because I think they thought West Side Story was going to win. But no, it didn't win. Coda won. So yeah, I enjoyed the ceremony. I haven't watched it for a while. There's been a lot of talk about the Oscars not doing as well in recent years, and pointing out that back in its heyday, in like the year of Titanic, they got 55 million viewers, whereas this recently they've gotten down to as much as 10 million viewers. But TV viewership has gone down in general, and live performances, award ceremonies have been very difficult the last few years because of all the problems in the world. So this was, I don't know, a lot of people are putting it down to politics, but the Oscars has always been political. I remember just being aware of Marlon Brando giving Indian woman the opportunity to come up and do a speech instead of him getting the award and stuff like that. Things like that have always been done at the Oscars. It's always been political because Hollywood is very political, and they're very left. They're very liberal, so they've always spoken out like that, and I'm glad they've always done that. And I always used to watch the Oscars every year. I stopped watching it a while ago, actually. I think it was because I wanted to work in film when I was younger, so I watched the Oscars because it was inspiring, and then when my sort of dreams didn't come true, it sort of took the fun out of it in a way. So I haven't watched it as much recently. I normally just watch what happened. And also, I haven't been happy with the no hosts, which they did for a couple of years after all the controversy with Kevin Hart, who was picked and then he was removed, basically uninvited because of his allegedly homophobic comments. I I think they were homophobic, but I just sort of should say allegedly, just, because that's my opinion. I'm not sort of stating a fact. But yeah, I enjoyed the ceremony. I think it's a pity Will Smith did what he did live. It was actually broadcast in Australia uncensored. It was censored in America. The audio was muted, so people didn't hear it, but we heard it here, and he was angry. And yeah, so my favourite moment, I think, was Lady Gaga and Liza Minelli. Glad Jessica Chastain won for Yaz Tammy Faye. And I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the winners. And the performance. I think it was better this year, and I think they're getting back on track, and I think the ratings will go up again. I don't think the Oscars are gone. The Oscars are important because it's the industry giving the awards out. It's not popularity, it's not critics, it's the actual people who work in the industry awarding the other people. So I think it's important and still relevant.